Hello, welcome to the channel. Today we will learn about the heartbreaking issue where Chad DiMera faces a devastating scam that wipes out his entire fortune. All while young Thomas DiMera grapples with deep remorse over his well-intentioned but disastrous matchmaking scheme. In the intricate web of Salem's drama, Chad DiMera, Billy Flynn, is teetering on the edge of a personal catastrophe that could redefine his future, sparked by a seemingly innocent foray into online romance. Thomas DiMera, Carrie Christopher, Chad's devoted son, has been carrying a heavy burden of guilt ever since his plan to help his father heal from a painful deception unraveled in the most catastrophic way. The boy's remorse is palpable, as he whispers hints of regret during family moments, haunted by how his desire to see Chad happy led to such profound loss. Originally upset upon discovering Chad's elaborate lie about Cat Green, Annalyn McCord, posing as his late wife Abigail DiMera, Marcy Miller, Thomas's emotions spiraled into devastation when Rachel Black, Alice Halsey, revealed the full extent of the ruse. This betrayal shook the young DiMera to his core, leaving him torn between loyalty to his father and the sting of being misled about a woman he briefly hoped could fill the void in their family. Thomas's innocence in navigating these adult heartaches only amplifies the tragedy, as he now reflects on how his impulsive actions escalated the situation into something far more sinister. A scam that stripped Chad of his assets, leaving the once powerful businessman vulnerable and exposed in ways he never imagined. The emotional fallout hit Thomas like a tidal wave, compounding his already fragile state as he processed the layers of deceit surrounding Cat's impersonation. In quiet moments, the boy confesses fragments of his sorrow to close confidants, admitting that pushing Chad toward new connections was meant to mend their fractured bond, not destroy it entirely. This remorse hints at a deeper family rift, where Thomas fears his meddling might have invited the very predator who exploited Chad's loneliness. Viewers have watched as Thomas's initial shock from Rachel's revelations morphed into a quiet determination to fix things, but the scam's revelation has twisted that resolve into self-blame. Analysts of the storyline point out how this arc masterfully explores themes of trust and vulnerability in the digital age, with Thomas's guilt serving as a poignant reminder that good intentions can pave the road to ruin. As the narrative unfolds, Thomas's subtle apologies during tense DiMera gatherings underscore his growing realization that his father's financial ruin traces back to that fateful decision to encourage online dating, a choice that now looms as the catalyst for Chad's downfall. On the October 22nd episode of Days of Our Lives, a pivotal conversation between Thomas and Jeremy Horton, Michael Rourke, offered a glimmer of hope amid the chaos, allowing the young boy to unburden his complex emotions. Jeremy, with his steady demeanor and outsider perspective on Salem's endless intrigues, listened patiently as Thomas poured out his confusion and heartache over Chad's lies and the subsequent scam that followed. This heartfelt exchange wasn't just a therapy session. It delved into the psychological toll on a child witnessing his parents' world crumble due to a deceptive online romance. Thomas articulated his fear that his father's desperation for companionship had blinded him to red flags, like the scammer's rapid professions of love and subtle requests for financial help disguised as shared dreams. Jeremy's empathetic guidance helped Thomas begin to unpack these feelings, emphasizing forgiveness while subtly warning about the dangers of unchecked digital interactions. The scene's depth lies in its portrayal of mentorship, where Jeremy's advice on emotional resilience subtly foreshadows how such vulnerabilities can lead to exploitation, much like the dating app trap that ensnared Chad. Through this dialogue, the episode highlighted Thomas's evolving maturity as he starts to connect his matchmaking idea directly to the asset-stripping fraud, vowing internally to protect his family from further harm. Yet, despite this therapeutic breakthrough, Thomas remains far from accepting any notion of Chad pursuing romance with the duplicitous Cat, whose scam has left scars deeper than mere finances. The boy's aversion stems from a protective instinct sharpened by witnessing how the fake Abigail persona lured Chad into sharing sensitive details about his estate, from DiMera Enterprises holdings to personal investments, all funneled away under false pretenses. Thomas's remorse manifests in sleepless nights and hesitant glances at his father, where he hints at his role in suggesting the app, now regretting how it opened the floodgates to the con artist scheme. In a creative twist to the storyline, imagine Thomas sketching apologies in a hidden journal, detailing visions of alternate paths where he never spotted Jeremy tinkering with dating profiles. This internal conflict adds layers to Thomas's character, transforming him from a mischievous child into a remorseful architect of unintended chaos. The narrative's focus here underscores the ripple effects of family interventions, showing how one child's hope for paternal happiness can inadvertently invite predators who exploit emotional voids for monetary gain. As Thomas wrestles with these thoughts, the show invites viewers to ponder the ethical dilemmas of modern matchmaking, where apps promise connection but deliver deception, much like the girl who catfished Chad into bankruptcy. Rather than dwelling on the pain of Kat's betrayal, Thomas channels his energy into envisioning a brighter path for Chad, one involving a genuine new beginning free from the shadows of scams and lies. This shift reveals Thomas's optimistic core, even as guilt nips at his heels, prompting him to fantasize about a kind-hearted partner who could restore their family's stability without the risk of financial ruin. In expanded scenes, Thomas might confide in a stuffed animal heirloom from Abigail, whispering plans to vet future matches personally to avoid another disastrous match. The storyline cleverly weaves in educational elements about online safety, with Thomas's evolving plan highlighting the importance of skepticism in digital spaces. By pushing Chad toward healthier outlets, Thomas aims to atone for his part in the app fiasco, hoping a fresh romance could rebuild not just hearts but fortunes lost to fraud. This proactive stance adds tension, as it raises questions about whether Thomas's remorse will lead to overcompensation or true wisdom in the face of Salem's relentless drama. The spark for Thomas's bold idea ignited when he caught Jeremy Horton casually crafting profiles on a trendy dating app during a casual hangout at the DiMera mansion. Intrigued by the vibrant interface promising soulmate connections, Thomas saw an opportunity to steer Chad away from Kat's toxic influence and toward someone trustworthy. Yet, in hindsight, this moment fuels his remorse, as he now recognizes how similar apps became the vector for the scammer who posed as a dreamy match, gradually extracting details about Chad's assets through fabricated sob stories. Jeremy's profiles, filled with lighthearted bios about hiking in Salem's outskirts and coffee shop philosophizing, inspired Thomas to dream up a safer version for his dad, perhaps one emphasizing Chad's business acumen to attract stable partners. This creative inspiration draws from real-world app dynamics, where algorithms pair users based on shared interests, but in DOOL's twist, it backfires spectacularly. Thomas's wide-eyed enthusiasm in that scene contrasts sharply with his current regret, illustrating the innocence lost when good ideas collide with Salem's underbelly of deceit. The episode's cinematography, with close-ups on the app's glowing screen, symbolizes the seductive lure of online romance that ultimately led to Chad's asset evaporation. Emboldened by the concept, Thomas boldly decides that Chad must dive into the dating app world to discover a compassionate soul who can help him rebuild after the scam's devastation. In his mind, this new match could be the key to forgetting Kat's manipulations, someone perhaps with a background in finance to spot future red flags and safeguard the remaining DiMera legacy. Thomas's plan isn't just whimsical. It's a detailed strategy, involving crafting a profile that highlights Chad's paternal devotion and resilience, aiming to draw in women who value family over fortune. However, his remorse creeps in as he recalls how the app's anonymity enabled the scammer to fabricate a persona mirroring Chad's ideal: charming, supportive, and ultimately ruinous. This section of the storyline delves into character growth, with Thomas learning that matchmaking requires more than apps. It demands discernment to prevent repeats of the fraud that left Chad penniless. Viewers are left analyzing how Thomas's initiative, born from love, mirrors broader societal issues of online vulnerability, where one swipe can lead to emotional and financial cliffs. True to his word, Jeremy Horton appears eager to present this matchmaking proposition to Chad, having solemnly promised Thomas to advocate for the idea during their next encounter. Jeremy's commitment adds a layer of intrigue, as his own history in Salem equips him with insights into the pitfalls of rushed romances. Yet he proceeds to honor the boy's request. In an invented extension, Jeremy might prepare talking points, emphasizing how a vetted app experience could restore Chad's confidence post-scam, while subtly incorporating lessons on secure financial boundaries in new relationships. This alliance between uncle figure and nephew heightens the drama, as Jeremy's persuasion could either heal or further complicate the DiMera dynamics. Thomas's hints of remorse during their plotting sessions reveal his anxiety, fearing another misstep might deepen the family's wounds. The narrative here builds suspense around Jeremy's pitch, exploring themes of surrogate support in fractured families and the double-edged sword of technological aid in love. As spoilers intensify, Chad finds himself entangled in a whirlwind of dating app turmoil that promises to exacerbate his already precarious situation, turning a simple sign-up into a labyrinth of complications. The scam's aftermath has left him wary, yet Thomas's earnest pleas might convince him to try, only to encounter profiles laced with hidden agendas reminiscent of the girl who drained his accounts. In a detailed analysis of this arc, the show examines how digital platforms amplify isolation, drawing Chad into chats that echo his lost connection with Kat, but lead to fresh betrayals. Viewers anticipate scenes where mismatched dates expose Chad's grief, forcing confrontations with the emotional voids the scammer exploited. This drama isn't mere filler. It's a commentary on recovery, where attempting to move on risks reopening fiscal wounds, all while Thomas watches with bated breath and growing regret. Chad's lingering attachment to Kat remains a formidable barrier, clouding his judgment even as he considers honoring Thomas's wishes to repair their strained father-son tie. The scam's sting, losing properties, stocks, and heirlooms to a fabricated love story, has deepened this fixation, making every app notification a potential trigger. Creatively, envision Chad scrolling through profiles late at night, haunted by memories of Kat's early messages that mirrored Abigail's warmth, only to realize the parallel deceptions. By agreeing to the app trial, Chad aims to demonstrate commitment to Thomas, but it risks amplifying his remorse if another disaster unfolds. This internal tug-of-war enriches the character, portraying Chad as a man grappling with loss on multiple fronts, where financial ruin intersects with unresolved romance. Audiences are poised to witness Chad tentatively advancing into what unfolds as a monumental dating app fiasco, complete with awkward encounters that mirror his scam ordeal. Picture disastrous coffee meetups where dates probe too deeply into his finances, echoing the scammer's tactics, or virtual mix-ups that resurface Kat's profile for ironic torment. Thomas's grand scheme, now tainted by his remorse, sets the stage for comedic yet poignant mishaps, like Chad's profile glitching to reveal vulnerable posts about his losses. This progression highlights the storyline's blend of humor and heartache, analyzing how apps can both heal and harm in the quest for connection. Could Chad endure the most humiliating date imaginable, courtesy of Thomas's misguided attempt to pair him with an unsuitable match? In this hypothetical nightmare, a blind setup leads to a woman with ulterior motives, subtly alluding to the original scammer's playbook and reigniting Chad's paranoia. Thomas's hints of guilt during prep talks add emotional weight, as he second-guesses pushing his father into the fray. The potential for viral Salem gossip about Chad's woes amplifies the stakes, turning personal embarrassment into public spectacle and underscoring the perils of child-led interventions in adult matters. The added awkwardness intensifies if Chad's initial app match eerily circles back to Kat's digital footprint, stirring a cauldron of unresolved tension and fresh suspicions. This glitch could manifest as algorithmic suggestions pulling from old data, forcing Chad to relive the scam's early thrills and betrayals. Thomas, overhearing fragments of this, would deepen his remorse, perhaps confronting his father with tearful admissions of his role. Such a twist masterfully ties past and present, examining how technology preserves echoes of deceit, making true closure elusive in Salem's tech-savvy undercurrents. Whatever twists await, the infusion of this dating app element into days of our lives carries deliberate narrative weight, signaling deeper explorations of modern isolation and exploitation. By timing it post-scam, the show critiques how grief propels people toward risky innovations, with Chad as the cautionary tale. Thomas's hope for a scam-free romance clashes with reality, inviting analysis of optimism versus caution in digital love. Thomas clings to the dream of Chad discovering a worthy partner to eclipse Kat's shadow and reclaim lost assets through mutual support. But Salem's complexities suggest otherwise. In an extended vision, this new woman might emerge as an ally in recovering stolen funds, offering redemption arcs for all involved. Yet, Thomas's remorse tempers his enthusiasm, as he ponders if forcing connections invites more fraud. Chad's struggle to release Kat persists, particularly if app anomalies underscore the irreplaceable bond they shared before her true colors emerged as a master scammer. These digital echoes could manifest as unsent messages or profile resemblances, trapping Chad in nostalgia's grip and delaying his healing. The storyline's psychological depth here lies in depicting addiction to false intimacy, where the scam's intimacy forged unbreakable, if illusory, ties. Ultimately, Days of Our Lives spoilers tease that Chad's pull toward Kat might intensify amid these online escapades, urging fans to tune in for the full unraveling of Thomas's remorse-fueled master plan. This escalation promises layers of betrayal, recovery, and familial bonds tested by technology's double blade, keeping Salem's drama as unpredictable as ever.